Hello and good day to you. Today's video will be making this rubber stamped card for our 30 days of card making. To make this greeting card, we'll need liquid glue, foam pads, 3D sticky foam pads. We'll need scissors to trim off excess cardstock. We need a scoreboard and a scoring tool. This one is by Crafter's Companion. It's a big score. You can use any one you have. We need baby wipes to clean our stamps between each stamping. Clean our stamps. We'll need a die cutting machine. I'm using the crossover by Tattered Lace. You can use any one you have. This is optional if you can measure and cut without essential shapes like we're going to do with square. So if you can cut a perfect square, that's up to you. So because of that, we'll need dies. Before I come to we need dies. This die, I'll be using it with the rubbers, with the sentiment. It's just to fit the sentiment and cut it out for me when I want to mat and layer, or matting and layering. Do my matting and layering. Okay, that's why I need this rectangle. You can use any rectangle that can fit around your sentiments. Then this essential square, and we have the large square. They are both by Tattered Lace. You can use any brand you have. While we are using it, we just want to place it around our card and cut it out when we finish stamping to fit. If you can cut a perfect square, you don't need it. But if you can't, you will need to use it. Okay, and we'll be using the large ones for matting and layering the cards too. Okay. So that means we need our die cutting mat. I'm using this. This is a mat by for the grand caliber. If you are using the grand caliber mat, the good thing about the crossover is that because of its because of the kind of system it is, it has this adjustable notch here. This roller means you can use any mats that can fit through it. So to use the grand caliber mat, you will need 3 of it to give it that height before it can move properly in the crossover. That's if you are die cutting, but if you are embossing, you may need only 2 mats. Okay. We'll need a rubber stamp. I'm using this 3 rubber stamp. Okay, so I designed this 3 rubber stamp myself. So use it and sentiment. They are my designs. We need this stamping mat. And we need colors. We need ink pads. So you can see we'll be using blue ink pad, orange, green, and pink. And because of the ink pad we'll be using, we'll need cardstock to coordinate each ink pad. So we have the pink, we have the orange, we have the green cardstock, and we have the blue cardstock. So you can see we need the cardstock to coordinate each of the colors we'll be using. So here we are, okay? Then we'll need white cardstock. This white cardstock is 300 grams. Why this colored cardstock is 135. Just want to show you. 135 grams. I bought this from Lidl's. It's 135 grams because I'll be matting and layering. So by the time I layer too much, it's going to give a very heavy. The card is going to be heavy. That's why I'm using a lightweight cardstock for the matting and layering. But this white one is 300 grams and it's by Xerox. It's a heavy weight. You can use 300, 350 for your base, for the base of the card. That's a heavy weight. You don't want a wobbling card. So I think to make our card, the first thing I'll do now is to ink my stamp and stamp a white piece of card. While it's drying, we'll be making the card. So let's ink our stamp. I'm using the blue ink pad now. Just cover the surface. My stamping pad is underneath. And here it is. Got a little ink on my fingers. Okay. And now with my wipes, my baby wipes, I'm going to wipe between each. And my baby wipes, I'll wipe between each inking and stamping. No, between each stamping. After inking and stamping. Okay, I'll wipe between each ink and stamp. And with my baby wipe, I'll just wipe the ink from it and do it again with another color. So this time I'll be using orange. You can go in any color sequence that you desire. Okay. So, leaving a little border, I'm going to die cut it. Okay, that's perfect. Can do this other one upside down and twist it. Okay, I need to work fast. So let's go with pink. And the last one will be green. Just cleaning the edge of the pad because the ink pad touched the acrylic block. I don't want to make any mistake, so I'm just going to write. Okay. All right, that's nice. Turn at 9, so I'll just go green over there. I'm using a very big acrylic block. That's why I have to clean around it, because I don't want to get some ink on my card. I don't know where my other acrylic block is. Been painting my room, so my craft room. So some things are packed up. All right. So here we are with we've stamped them, you can see. So while I leave it to dry, we'll get our base card ready. So now it's time for us to make our base card. I'll take the largest of the rectangle. I'll just place it just to make just to create the dimension that I desire. Sorry, the width that I desire, just to know the width I desire. I'm going to score at the end of it just to... So fold it and you burnish it neatly. Don't rush over it. Okay, so you can see it stands properly even with us. So we've done that. The next thing I'm going to do is to get another piece of white card, because we have to glue it to make the back of the card. So here's another white card. Here's another white card. But what I'm going to do is to put... What I'm going to do next is to put glue on this flap here. This will make me not exceed the side I really want the glue to be on, because it's going to go to the back of the card. If I had done it on the other side, I might see the actual width that is needed to put the glue, that the glue is supposed to be on. Okay. Make sure you line it properly. So I'm just going to line it properly. The nice thing about wet glue is that you can move it around before it, you stick it fine. You can move it around before it hardens up or it glues. But be careful, because sometimes while you are moving it around, you might tear it because it's wet. Okay, so here we go. Then with the scissors, I'm going to trim off this excess. So here's our card. If you have a ribbon, you can put at the back, or if you have another pattern paper, you can just cut it to this width, to this the width and height, and just put it at the back, just to give a nice part to the back. But while we're doing it, I'll cut a strip from this and place it at the back. I'll use them. I think I'll prefer the blue. I'll use the blue. This cardstock is bigger than an A4 card. This is an A4 size cardstock or card. You see how large it is. So I'm going to trim. I want it to go through my die cutting machine, so I'm just going to trim it. If you have a guillotine, please use it. But I'm just going to use scissors to trim it because I'm using dies to cut the shapes out. Okay. So I have the strip now. It's not that straight, so if I want it straight and I don't have a guillotine, what I normally do is just place it on my scoreboard. Where's my scoring tool? Place it on my scoreboard. Then with my scoring tool, I can just score any score a line there. Then with my scissors, now I have a nice guide to follow. I'll trim. I don't have my guillotine close by, so I have to make do with what I have. Just trim it. Now I have a nice guide to follow. So here we go. Then I can now glue it, or just open my card and glue it to the back. Just to add an accent to it, or to embellish it. Okay. As usual, you put it on the strip, because if I put it on the card without measuring the actual width and height, it's going to go over the card, and it might be the glue might go all over the card, which wouldn't be nice. Then you see, even with the glue out here, I can trim off the excess. And trim off the excess. Clean remove this one from my scissors. Okay. So here we go. This is the back of the card. Now you can see that it's neat. Now we have to work on the front of the card. And to work on the front of the card, we need to cut cards for matting and layering. Let's bring our reference card again. If you see it, we want to layer it. It's not compulsory that you should layer it, but I just desire to layer it. Okay? Just to transform it a little from a basic card. So now we're going to need our die cutting machine, and we'll be using our colored cards and the large squares. But if you can cut shapes on your own without the need of folding, maybe you have a template that you can use, that's fine. Then you will need your die cutting machine and dies. So now we need our die cutting machine. So I've laid you can see the so here's the largest size die. I'm going to place it there on the blue card stock. I've already put my mat. As I told you, I'm using the grand caliber. I just put one on there. Then this is the second mat. And the third one will go on top. So with the cutting side facing down, make sure it fits your card. It's on your card. So just to check. Some people do add low tack tape so that the die don't move, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, my setting is on 0. So cut it out, and you can see. So here is it, and here is the waist. With the next size of die, or with the next die size, I'm going to cut a different color. This is the one we used just now. Okay, so I'm going to take this other size. I'm going to cut a different color. Let me take an orange. Let me take the orange. Cut that one. Okay, so here's the orange. We've cut it. I'm going to cut another color. and that's going to be the green, because I want the green next. And we use the other die size. So here it is, we've cut out the green. Okay, so what next is the pink. I hope I haven't mixed the size, so there's a pink. And then the white. So, cut out a pink one. It cuts. Still the same thing. It cuts properly. Don't know why. But it didn't cut. I'm just going to fix it back properly and let it get into the groove. Though it's risky, but I don't know. Yes. Cut now. Okay, so we've cut the pink. You can see now that we've cut the pink. Now we need to cut the white. Oh, okay, so we've cut the white. I'm going to pack my dies to one side, clear my table. Okay. Now we have our die cuts. Okay, now our card, our stamped image, or stamp 3, we need to cut it out. So from the essential squares, taking size 9 and 10, size 9, it fits perfectly. So I'm going to cut out each design, and then I'll cut its coordinating color of a card and mat and layer it up. Okay. We have to cut it out 4 times. So we've cut out the orange. We need to cut out the others. Okay, let's place it on. So here we go. We've cut out the blue. We need the green next. So we have the green, remaining the pink. So we've done that, and here's the pink, and you can see all of them here that we've cut out. Let me get the other one, the orange. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the next layer of the die. We want to use this one for layering. You can see the larger size of the die, we're going to use it. Die size 10. And the essential, that's this next size here, we're going to use it. So I'm taking one of each color of cardstock, and I'll put the die on it. Why I'm doing that, since it's the same size, because we had to go through the image 4 times because we were cutting out the image and we don't want to make a mistake. So with this, you just you just place it on the die, the die on the cardstock, and cut it once. Cut it through the 4 layers of cards. Why? It's because it's the same size you're cutting out, and there's no image for you to line up to make sure you're cutting it properly. You just want to cut a should I say color block. Okay, so I just want to, going through how many layers, you just want it to cut properly. That's why I went through it. Okay, so here we are. We already have the colors. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to start mounting our cards or layering our card. Before we start layering our card, I want to stamp the sentiment. I want to stamp the sentiment to allow it to dry. So with my blue ink pad and a white cardstock, to stamp my sentiments. Okay, that's perfect. I will allow it to dry. While it dries, we'll be mounting or layering the cardstock, matting and layering, or mounting the cardstock. So then we need our dies. When it's dried, we need our dies to cut around the sentiment. So here are the pieces. It's time to fit the puzzle. So this is the basic card. You can see that that's the back, and here this is the front. We need to start gluing. I love it getting to the end a little, but not too much at the end because we don't want it to smear out when we stick it. Why I want it to get a little bit close to the end. You don't want the ends lifting. Okay, now we have to make sure position it properly. Okay. Smooth it down, remove all the air bubbles. And so we have that. The next one is the orange. It's too much at the end. I need to move it a bit to the middle. Okay. So the next is the green, then the pink, and then the white. So now we have this. I'm going to put the white. And if I line this one up, you will see that they fit perfectly in this last square. So you have a thin white border around. Now let's put the white. So we've done that. I'll put this aside, and then to each tree, it's coordinating colors. All right, we have the colors now. You can see them here. Our stamps, you can see them. Okay, this is for fall or autumn. This is spring, this is summer, and this is winter. All right, so you can place it in any format you want. Let's say, if you want to glue it, you can glue it, but I'm not. Should I glue it? That's nice, I can glue it. Okay, let me glue it. Or you can use foam pads if you desire. If you desire, you can use foam pads, but I'm going to glue it. The first one I did, I used foam pads. So this one, let me glue. Just make sure you line it properly, you know, gluing down. Okay. And you leave a nice border around. Not too big so that the other part can fit in. That's why I have to arrange it first to make sure they fit properly. So you see that the die has really helped us in fitting this this design in. If you have, you can use templates. If you don't have dies, you can use templates and make sure it fits properly. Then before you see, you'll be making more in less than no time, in a bit of. Okay, so here we are. Here's the card. Looks nice. Now, sentiment. We need to cut out our sentiment. I'll get the die cutter now. Just took a small rectangle die. You can use any rectangle die you have, or you can just trim around. I'm not good with measurements, especially cutting papers or cardstock. I'm not good with cutting, measuring and cutting. So having essential dyes, it really helps. Okay, so going to put it and we're going to cut. Just make sure it lines properly. I need glue. So here it is. We've cut it out. So you can see here it is. But I need another die. I need another die to layer it. I need to layer it so that it pops up. It pops out. So doing that, I'll be using the next size of die. Okay, just to cut. We don't need to put this one in. Don't make any mistake, it should be out now. So we just cut that. And then we layer. We have our sentiment ready. All right. So here we go. We've cut it out. So here it is. We need to clear this up. Okay. We have to layer it up, and we have to layer it and just use glue first to layer it. I'm going to trim this excess here. I don't really like it, so I'm going to trim it off because it's really too big. I don't like the spaces. So just give it a nice straight border. Perfect. Surprising. Okay, so now here is our card. I'll put a sticky foam pad at the back. And we can put our sentiment where we want it to be. So I'm just going to put a sticky foam pad at the back of the sentiment. Put it on the side where I want it to be. No, before you put it, you have to decide. So you can turn it, twist it if you want. If you want your design to show properly, you can put it side. If you put it side, we know the trees will be falling. If you wanted to put it sideways, okay. I'll just put it here. Let's see, just leave it in the middle. Okay. So here we go. Here's our beautiful card. And we have a nice strip at the back, just to add some accent. If you want to sell your card, you would have printed your logo here and whatever information you need to put. You just put your logo before you glue, before you do all this. You can just print that one separately and insert it. Okay, then here is your card, neatly done. And guess what, you can make a box to go with your card. Just stamp the box. You can make one of these. I think we should make a box in the next one. This card making, right? You can make a box. Just put the topper, just put one of this topper on the box and let your card be inside, and it will look professional. Or your envelope, you can just stamp. You make an envelope to fit it. Okay. So here is a beautiful card. Although it's like here's a beautiful card. Although I call it a beginner's project, but expert can do it. And the nice thing about it is It's a bit time taking, right? It's a bit time taking. But the nice thing is you just ink and you stamp. That is it. So this is just inking. All right, just stamping, or you can say just stamping. You don't need to color in, you just use the ink pad and the cardstock, they do the work for you. So thank you, and hope you join us for day 2 of card making, 30 days of card making. And in day 2 of 30 days, so here's our beautiful card. You can see it's neatly done. Although I call it a beginner's project, but you can see that it's still time-taking, and it's a great project to do, just inking and stamping. So I hope you join us for day 2 of 30 days of card making, where we'll be using stencils and chalk or eyeshadow. So these are the stencils we'll be using, and we'll be using our die cutting machine. We'll be embossing and coloring our stencils to enhance the design. This stencil is by Plaid Enterprise or Plaid Craft, and we'll be using eyeshadows. Yes, eyeshadows or chalk. This is an abandoned eyeshadow. Okay, we'll be using eyeshadow. So we'll be using eyeshadows. If you have chalk, fine, but if you have eyeshadow, then that's fine. Your makeup eyeshadow, okay? And we'll be using our stencils. We'll be using these 2 stencils, layer trellis, but you can use any stencil you have. It's just to keep up with the card making, just to try your hands in different card making techniques. So until then, happy crafting. The tutorial will still be on the blog for you to print, so you can go to anino.ogunjobi.com to print the tutorial, and we'll follow up from there. So have fun and happy crafting. Take care. Bye bye for now. Thank you.